Good morning, people. Welcome to another edition of the Resilient Living Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and today is April 11th of 2023, and we're going to talk about investing in sustainability as the dollar dies. Is the dollar going to die? I don't know. There's a lot of freaky people talking about a lot of stuff like that. I mean, we got a lot of things going on with China, the BRICS nations, meaning a lot of people trading amongst themselves to try to get the dollar, you see, guys, is actually the reserve currency for the world. If anybody wants to trade in oil or something like that, they usually do it in the dollar because it's the most safe money, right? We don't know if the yuan, or was it the Chinese dollar, if it's between Russia and China, if they were to trade in this, if somebody defaults, we kind of stole. It's a big story of what Nixon did in 1971, I think, when they took the gold off the standard, the dollar as a promissory note. There was no gold backing it. They went and made it with Saudi Arabia, I believe, to where the world trades in dollars for gasoline. So the dollar was actually kind of, you can say, to my knowledge, backed by gasoline. Well, the other nations are getting very angry at the United States for having this power over them. So they're changing things up, and we're going through some heavy changes. But what can we do about it? How could we invest in sustainability? How can we, and this is not what you guys think. I got my first note here is a bread maker. You probably look and go, you're crazy. So my mom bought this automatic bread maker. The fact that it's automated, where you just pour ingredients in and it makes bread itself, right? It was delicious. But the thing is that investing in these things right now, these little pieces of machinery, some of them cost $20, some of them cost $100. But the point I want to make with this bread making example is that bread is what is the saying? That's my bread and butter. Bread is kind of what feeds a lot of people. Is it the healthiest choice? I think no, not really, but it smells darn good. And sourdough, a freshly sourdough baked loaf, is very difficult to not get into. So the thing I want to look at here is you might be in a situation where you can't invest in gold stocks. Maybe you don't have the knowledge to do stocks. Maybe you don't have the knowledge and the money to invest into like real estate and things like that. But what are things that we can actually invest in? Bread makers and trees? Really? Let me explain. So as the cost of inflation is happening right now, a lot of people are struggling to buy goods. We're going to talk about that too. The cost of bread, let's bring it back to the bread, is very expensive. A loaf of bread that used to be $3 is probably most likely $6 now, depending on where you buy it. And it's loaded full of preservatives. And it's getting worse, I think, for the health. So when I look at sustainability, I don't look at just saving money. I look at your health. We're splatter coating this thing. We're shotgun shelling this out so that we have multiple functions, stacking functions, as we say in permaculture. So when you take the bread factor, that you need to feed your family, and you purchase this machine, not only are you eating healthy bread, you will see the difference to where when it doesn't have preservatives, it'll rot. Within 2 days, it starts to harden up unless you freeze it or do something. It'll mold very quickly. What the hell is in bread that you buy in the store that sits on a shelf for weeks and does not rot, right? And costs you a whole bunch of money. So by buying such things as a bread maker, and it's not just about bread, I want you guys to expand from the micro of me talking about a bread machine and look at other things around you that you can do to where it's automated. Let's go through the steps here. We are hurt as an economy right now. Things are very expensive. A lot of us are working very hard, and our dollar is not taking us as far as it used to. So that bread is actually emptying out your pocketbook. So by placing these ingredients and buying them yourselves, yes, they're not cheap, but they're a lot cheaper than, I think, a fraction of the cost than buying a loaf of bread. You could probably make 100 loaves of bread, right, for the cost of one loaf bought in the store. So you just save money. That bread machine is I think some of them take like 4 hours. I've never used one before, but I think it's about 3-4 hours or so. It rises the dough, it bakes the dough, mixes everything, right? You have to do absolutely nothing. While this machine is baking you that bread for your bread and butter, you're able to go work and do other things, right? Such as maybe make more money or start living more sustainable and figuring out what you can do to offset inflation and the cost of everything, right? Such as gardening and stuff like that. So if we look at this from a macro, as this robot, we can call it, this automation is producing you a fresh loaf of bread at a fraction of the cost. You're eating healthier, you're saving time, and the deliciousness. I always say this: when you make fresh food from scratch or grow your own food, do it for the flavor. If anything else, do it for the flavor. So, buying gold and real estate, and even trees, I mentioned. So, when we look at gold, we look at stocks, we look at real estate, a lot of things fluctuate. I think that gold and real estate are good investments. Gold is a Robert Kiyosaki. I just was reading one of his books. Was interesting. He got into gold, and what happened was that he bought it back in the 80s, like I think like 80, 81 or something, right? It wasn't until 1999 where it I think it was 1999 where it completely like crashed down to its lowest. It went from like $400 to 250, right, per ounce, I think it was. And he didn't hold long enough, and it was a great lesson because after a decade to 2 decades, gold actually started to go up again. He would have made money, but he would have had to hold, right? So he's putting his money into gold that is depreciating in value, but we always know it will go up, just like real estate, just like stocks. You just have to have the patience and be able to have the backup money to feed yourself for 2 decades while this investment goes up, right? Well, what's the contrast in buying trees, investing rather than buying trees? I mean, you can buy a tree like a lime or something like that, place that in your yard, avocado tree, right? Some nut trees, but you can also propagate your own and invest in, I guess what I want to say is invest in sustainability. So these trees, the ROI, the return on investment, it's just like the bread maker. As you sit at your property, or maybe you don't own property, right? You don't have to own property. You can do this on somebody else's land, which I do. It's called spin farming. I pay the water bill, and in return, I give the people food off the land that they don't even use. A perfect example would be a moringa tree, the tree of life, it's called. It has all the vitamins and nutrients supposedly to sustain life, any kind of living creature, whether it's ducks, humans, horses, cows, etc. So if we went to people's houses, or you did this in your own home, your own land, as that tree progresses, it produces seeds which you can consume. It produces seeds which you can grow more trees. It produces branches which you can literally cut off and just stick in the ground and grow even more trees. You get this harvest of the leaves, which are very delicious, especially the new shoots, right? And you can sell this stuff. You can create it as a business, a moringa powder. If you did this successfully, like a whole bunch of them, right? There's even such trees that can produce timber. Mr. Mark Shepard, I learned a little cookie from him, was planting such things as black walnut, right? These beautiful woods that you place somewhere in zone 9, meaning the furthest area of your property, right, that you never even use. And as you begin to age, these trees begin to age and grow in value for timber. Right, black walnut coffee table or something like that. So hopefully you guys see where I'm going with this. Yes, start if you don't have money to invest in real estate and you have this money that's depreciating because of inflation. We can take the little bit that we have and invest these things. So unlike, to bring it back to gold, real estate, and things like that, other than I will say, I know some people are going to say real estate will start paying you back, but in very small dividends, very small payments back. Right, if you bought a house for I don't know if they're even out there for $400,000 and you got a renter in there for $2,000, right? But your mortgage is like 18. You're making like maybe 2, 3, 4%, 5% back, right, of investment. Whereas when I look at like a moringa tree and gardening and things like that, they start to feed you instantly, right? Maybe not completely like within the first couple months, right? But within that year, you'll be eating something. And that starts to produce for you, and it starts to give you a product that cannot be taxed, a product that doesn't care that Nixon took the gold standard off the dollar, that the dollar is a promissory note. It doesn't care what Russia and China or the BRICS nations are doing, that what United States is doing. No, it doesn't care about anything other than I want to grow, and being in a relationship with my co-exister here that prunes me and fertilizes me and gives me food. I know that I have a life to live, and there's a symbiotic relationship now. So now let's look at real estate that cash flows in or has significant production values. So I'm not knocking such things as real estate. I would say gold and stocks and things like that. Those are very iffy. Those are things that move around. There's a lot of moving parts, and so does real estate. But if we look at real estate from a different perspective, from what most people are doing, where it's cash flowing, right? That's a great thing. It should cash flow. I have an idea to make things cash flow, and we're actually working on it right now to where I grow seedlings to sell to the public from my land. So instead of having a renter, or maybe stacking functions by buying a house, starting such thing as an auxiliary dwelling unit, right, where I have a rental, it's now starting to cash flow. Maybe my rent got down to half. I bought a house, my mortgage is $3,000, but I can rent this place out for $1,500, right? A little room. But in addition to that, in sustainability, what I want to get to here is that I can actually take up most of my backyard and start growing little seedlings in little biodegradable pots, right? And I got all these seeds from my garden. I've been saving seeds for years now, and I must have like 3 to 4, I don't even know, maybe 6,000 jalapeno seeds. Let's just pick one. Out of those jalapeno plants, the seeds that I saved, I have 6,000 plants that I can sell. For Home Depot right now, let's just say your hardware stores I've seen, it's like $6 for a pepper plant. Now, I've got free seeds. I almost have free soil. I do need to pay for some water and things like that. But if I imagine if one was to take those 6,000 seeds and sell them for, I don't know, let's say $4 a piece. Do the math, people. My math's always screwed up. I have to do everything off my calculator. But 6,000 times 4 should be 24,000. No, that's times 2. Yeah, see, my math is horrible. To like 24 grand. Well, anyways, a lot of money. It could literally pay for your mortgage. Let's bring it back what we said with the bread maker and the moringa. Let's just say that you were a great gardener and you made some fresh hot bread and you had a bunch of people over your house and you showed them how to grow moringa trees. You gave them a taste of the moringa trees. And then you said, well, if you guys would like to buy some moringa seedlings, which I have, and I also have some, we'll keep it sweet and short, some jalapeno seeds. Get where I'm going with this? They get the smell of the hot bread that you feed them. They get to listen to you speak on how to grow food or how to grow moringa. They get to taste the moringa. Maybe they get to taste fresh peppers and things from your garden and say, if you guys ever want these things, I'm selling them. I'm selling the bread. I'm selling the moringa powder. I'm selling the moringa trees. I'm selling the moringa seeds. I'm selling you guys how to grow these things. We start to invest in sustainable things where our money, our investing goes from just the monetary value to, how can I say, you're actually feeding yourself and you're giving to others and you're building your brand, your name, which we're going to go into goods and services at the end here. I got to move along because I do have to get to work here, but I hope you guys got that investing in real estate. So I did talk about gardening and other food production sources, about how you can do these things and how a lot of them, if it's a fraction of the money, it actually could end up being free. So meaning I'm producing my own soil, right? Doing compost and things like that. Right now, what I've been doing is microgreens. I made Calabri microgreens. If you guys want to see this stuff too, go to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. It's called Biodegradable Container Gardening. I have a whole channel there, and you guys can actually see my microgreen video that I posted. And what the gist of that, again, cash flowing or making production happen in your home, is that what I do is I get a large basket and I grow myself a bushel of microgreens, right? Right now it's Calabri. Where did those seeds come from? They came free from last year, where I grew about 3 or 4 of them out of a container, a 5-gallon container. I let them go to seed. I cut all those seeds. I sprinkled them into the basket. And mind you, I only sprinkled about a quarter of the seeds. I still have 3 more baskets I could do. The entire basket that I covered full of Calabri seeds is microgreens that are just blossoming and that I'm eating right now. The name of the game is that as I chop those microgreens, I leave about 4, 5, or 6 plants in there of those microgreens to develop into large mama plants, right? And what's going to happen? Well, those 4 mama plants are going to grow up, and next year I'm going to have even more microgreen seeds. So I have a perpetual way of growing free microgreens. Go to the store, buy yourself a tiny little pack. I think it's like 3-4 ounces, and see how much it costs you for microgreens, right? Again, healthy, but a way for us to produce things that feed us, that give us back an ROI, return on investment, such as getting off the dollar before the dollar dies, right? And Investing into business next here. Investing into business, the key factor is a very necessary business. Now, I've been investing back into my business. If you guys see the background, for those of you who watch this on YouTube, this is a 2023 Sprinter. And I refuse to go forward. It's 2023 for me. I just bought a Sprinter. And it's reliable. It's got a lot more room. I can use it as a bug out vehicle if the crap really hit the fan one day. Not saying it is. This is there's like 15 feet back here. Let me take you guys a little back. That goes way back there. So I take off on my mini retirements. This whole thing is a van conversion I'm working on right now. It's brand new. It's not going to break down. It's under warranty. I invested in my business, but why would I invest in my business when things are going down, right? Things are going crazy for a lot of, especially tech. Because my business is lucrative. It's in construction. Mainly my main focus of money is roofing repairs, roof work. It's not going anywhere. This year in California, and this foul year, we've had a lot of rain here in Sunnyside, California, in San Diego, where I reside. There's tons of work. So I'm investing into my business, but it's something that's necessary. And these are things that I look at a lot of businesses right now. Let's take it back quickly. I won't make it too long because I have to wrap this up. Is that we have banking systems coming in, the Credit Suisse and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure if you guys maybe have heard about it. What's happening is we're having large banks take over smaller banks. They want to centralize. They want to make... Where I'm going with this is the Walmarts, the Costcos and stuff like that, who are killing off the mom and pop stores, the little tiny chains. If they can take it, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie, Wall-E, where it's by and large, B&L, right? And they have everything, just like Walmart. Why would you go to a mom and pop store that has few groceries when you could go to Walmart where they have tons of groceries? And they also have shoes, clothes, fishing poles, automotive stuff, right? It's very convenient. This is what's happening in our world right now. I don't see that the construction industry could be affected too, but anything that you're going to invest in, if you are, everybody has a side hustle they can do right now, and I just see a lot of people doing side hustles that are not necessary. I think if you're working a 9-to-5 job, right, and you're getting a set pay of hours, look at how much the cost of living has gone up in contrast to how much they are paying you. You're in a world of pain. You are not living very comfortable, because the boss or the company either refuses or cannot afford to pay you the money that you deserve, that you need to survive on. Eventually, that's why I think this whole thing's going to crash. There's imbalance. So if you are going to start something and you don't have a lot of money and you want to invest in something, right? You have $10,000, $5,000. Let me give you guys an example before I close this out. If you got $5,000, go buy yourself a mower. All right? Buy yourself a leaf blower. For $5,000, you can buy a mower, a leaf blower, and a weed eater. I'd say that's all you really need. Just start off with that. Do something simple. Just tell people, look, I'll just clip your grass and edge it and everything and blow it all up. What did I tell you guys before on starting a business about some key factors of things I'd done? Where you step out of your front door and walk down the street and knock on your neighbor's door. Hey, I would like to mow your lawn. I already have somebody. Oh, that's great. How much do you pay? Oh, I pay $80 a month. What if I said I could do it for $70? I've already done this experiment. And the people said, when can you start? And I said, well, I've got to get everybody in my neighborhood. I actually live right down the street, so if you ever have a problem, come talk to me. See where I'm going with that? Now let's just see where a lot of these gardeners are going and mowing one lawn here and then going to the other side of town and mow another one in the next city over, where if you took the entire block, right? I don't want to sit here and make this a war between ourselves where we steal work from each other, but hey, some of us need to feed ourselves, and I think it's really sustainable. If all those gardeners, if we helped them when they came and said, you stole my job, right? My one client here, you could say, this is what I did, man. Why don't you do the same? You won't even need that pickup truck. You could literally just mow your way to your job, right? So there's tons of stuff you can do. I don't even think it would cost $5,000. I think if you were savvy, and you did this on Saturdays, and you were a kid or you were an adult, think about how many lawns you can mow. Mow your own lawn. I think I did mine in a big city. It was a very small lawn, and I mowed my lawn, edged it, and blew it. And when it was all done, maintained, I was able to do it in 15 minutes. That means if you're charging $50, let's just say, to do a lawn, that's and you could do 4 of them in an hour, and you don't even have to spend gas. The overhead's low. That's about $200 an hour, people. So the significance of this kind of stuff, maybe this low end. Look, I'm not no lawnmower pusher, right? Lawnmower pusher, if done right, is making more money than the most of you. $200 an hour? Come on, man. All right, my final thoughts on goods and services versus currencies. So we have all this problem with currencies. There's all this stuff. Who knows what? Nobody knows what to do. I don't even know what to do. I could only look at my life and look around me and say, here are some solutions and things I think people could do to make their lives better. We always need to fight. We always need to look and search for our way out. And our way out is goods and services in contrast to the dollar. If the dollar dies, what a lot of people are saying, what do we have then? You know, a lot of people are sitting here putting this energy I see constantly into things they don't understand and things they can't affect. What we can do is we can look at things that we can affect. I have friends and I have family where we have services and stuff. Somebody knows how to install electrical. They'll come over and help me for what? Absolutely, well, maybe a beer or two or some of that fresh baked bread, right? We're trading amongst ourselves without any currency whatsoever other than the love and the friendship, right? And the goods. I have a garden club right now, the biodegradable container gardening. I've got people offering me to trade different plants. We're trading amongst ourselves, stuff that I don't have, stuff that they don't have. I grew too much. Would you like some tomatoes to put in your electric automated canner so you can make some spaghetti sauce or salsa for next year? Yes, I would love some. My tomatoes died this year. Do you guys see where I'm going with all of this? I just can't say it enough that it's making me sick to my stomach of how much energy is being placed into things, and I think it's possibly done on purpose to keep us confused, keep us all spinning, so that we're focused on the wrong things. That's what I look at. We are focused on the wrong things. I'm not saying being an ostrich, put your head in the ground and don't worry about all these things, but let's worry about them. Let's understand them. Let's work on them. But the very first thing is we all need to eat, right? We all need a roof over our head. We need water to drink. We need really good food. We need our health. We need our sanity, our happiness before we go and start worrying about these things which we basically have no control over. So if we start to do this, and I think that's what the powers that be don't want, and probably why this channel has taken very slow momentum, is these are things that people don't want you to hear about. Certain people, let's just leave it at that. Because what would happen? What did I just talk about this whole show? Investing in sustainability has nothing but very, very lightly any involvement with the dollar. So if the dollar dies and one was so inclined to do a very high, sustainable, resilient life where they produce a lot of their own energy, traded many things. Maybe I don't think we can do all. It would take a lot of work. Maybe one day, but right now, it wouldn't matter to us that much. I mean, it would affect us. I'd say we wouldn't be totally unaffected, but we'd relatively be doing good because we'd have all the simple necessities: food, water, shelter, right? Warmth, cold, all of those things, clothing. So I don't know, guys. I think that we should redefine the nature of our associations, right? Seek our entertainment elsewhere, so to speak. That's the soapbox for today. I'm trying to restructurize these shows to see if maybe they'll pick up some more momentum. Guys, if you do like this show, please help subscribe. You guys leave me reviews and things like that. If you want the show to keep going, I'm not really posting that much right now because I'm doing all the things that I practice what I preach. I'm actually going out and growing a lot of my own food right now, and it's taking a lot of my time. I'm studying all kinds of things and trying to keep notes so that I can share with what I'm doing with you guys. I follow a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk online, and one of the things he said is that you should document what you're doing so people can actually see. I've said it before in my show, I don't think that the things are too sexy, that people don't like these sort of things. The money is a lot nicer, so you can buy your khaki white pants and sit in your khaki white electric vehicle right in Cancun or something and not get a grain of sand on you. Have somebody fanning you with a damn palm branch, right, while you're drinking your martini thinking about how great and rich you are. Right? I don't think there's nothing wrong with that other than, hey, life's life. Life does get dirty. You can't stay clean. You can't stay on top forever. Nothing ever stays on top forever, right? Look at the philosophies. Look at the philosophers and the mathematics of things in life. Life is ever changing, and if we don't work to change with it, it just passes us right by. And I want to live my life. I don't want to survive. I want to live, and I'm sure you guys do too. So if you do, help me out with the show, guys. Do whatever you can to share it, review, all those type of things, and I'll be back for another one soon. comment. There's a link down below where you guys can get a hold of me. Let me know what I'm doing for you guys and what you guys want to hear about. All right, I got to get to work, make some money that's going to freaking depreciate.